Hey everyone, it's Angela Allen. Welcome back to the Handmade Homestead. Well, today we're going to talk about the care and feeding of sourdough and how to preserve it for long-term storage for those times when you just don't want to feed it. Well, sourdough starter is a fabulous resource for homesteaders, for gardeners, for anyone that wants to make their own bread. It's homegrown yeast and bacteria that you can use to leaven bread in your own kitchen without having to rely on buying store-bought yeast to do it. All you need is flour, water, a little bit of salt, and some sourdough starter to have a great loaf of bread. But taking care of it can be a hassle. Sourdough starter needs to be fed at least once a day in colder weather. But when summer comes and it gets so warm, a lot of times it needs to be fed twice a day. And with a busy summer gardening schedule, I don't always have the time to do that. On top of that, if anything goes wrong and you forget to feed your starter, well, then you can be in trouble. Or if you forget and heaven forbid you get mold or mildew or something growing, bacteria growing on your starter, or it just goes bad on you, you have to start all over. Either get sourdough starter from a friend or spend another 2 weeks growing your own culture. So having a little stashed in the freezer for those times when you either want to rest it or you just don't want to take care of it for a while, or you're going on a long summer vacation, or something's happened to your starter, having a little emergency batch in the freezer or dehydrated and ready to go is definitely a good idea. And I want you to see how much starter I have in here. I feed my starter at night, usually when I mix some more sourdough bread for baking off the next day. That's when I feed my starter, and you can see the line is really right here. But this is very, very active starter right now. It's quite bubbly. I'll show you inside if you can see in there. It's pretty active starter at the moment. So it's actually kind of puffed up. When that's done kind of using up the calories in there, this is going to shrink down. There's really only going to be this much. So I keep just a couple of tablespoons of starter ready at all times. I never have starter to throw away or to discard. If I want to make something with extra sourdough starter, then the night before, I just make extra starter. If I wanted to make crackers, say today, last night I would have fed this starter all the way up to about here. I would have just given it lots of flour and lots of water. I don't believe in that 1-1-1 ratio, where people use 1 part starter, 1 part flour, 1 part water. And they sometimes do that in grams, like 50 grams of water, 50 of flour, 50 of starter. I don't do that. I do a 1 part starter, or actually just the scrapings in my jar, to a couple tablespoons of flour, a couple tablespoons of water. I don't measure. I mix for a thick, pasty starter. If you mix your starter to a consistency that's really thin, it's going to use up all of those good calories and carbohydrates really fast, and your sour flavor from your starter is going to be more pronounced. So I mix mine very much the other way. I mix a dry, thick starter, so there's technically more food in my starter when I mix it than there is the capacity of the yeast and the bacteria to actually go through it before I add more food again in the form of flour. It doesn't matter really how much starter you use, and it really doesn't matter if your starter is active or if your starter is inactive or sleepy. You can still use it as long as it's been out on the counter and it's pretty much awake. A lot of people get concerned if they use their starter and it doesn't, they do the float test. They pour it in the water, they want that starter to float, or they don't think it's active enough to use. I'm telling you, standing here, that hungry starter works just as well as fed starter. It might take an extra hour, maybe 2, to ferment. But if you're doing your first ferment overnight, it's really not going to matter anyway. So even if your starter isn't well fed, as long as it's not too sour for you or your family, or if you like that sour flavor, you're fine. you just go ahead and use it. It'll be fine. Sourdough really is not complicated. Let's talk about how to store this for long-term storage. Now keep in mind, when I say long-term storage, I don't mean forever. You can actually take some of this starter, put it in the freezer, and put it in a nice airtight bag or jar or container of your choice. Make sure it's airtight and sealed, and put it in the freezer. And you can take it out and revive it in a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, probably even up to a year. After that, it may not revive very well, but you can certainly do that. You can just leave it in there for a sleeping period. Will some of the bacteria die? Yes, it will. Some of your yeast and some of your bacteria may die, but some of it will just go dormant. And when you restart this, all you're going to do is take it out, let it thaw to room temperature on your counter. Once it's thawed and completely liquid again, you just feed it. And then just every, I would do it every 12 hours in warm weather. Once it's active and bubbly, you know there's enough yeast and bacteria in there to actually leaven bread. So you just baby it along until it's bubbly enough to use. And it could take a couple of days and, 3 or 4 feedings to do that. The other way you can do this is if you have a dehydrator or a freeze dryer, you can actually freeze dry some of it or dehydrate some of it, powder it up, make sure it's completely dry, store it in a jar, and leave it right on your pantry shelf until you're ready to mix it and use it again. And in that state, you probably have a year, year and a half before you'd really need to restart some of it. It probably would store longer if you freeze dry it, probably close to forever, and put it in a Mylar bag. So that's not a bad way to have some preserved. Now I do keep extra in my refrigerator, and I do feed that about once a week. I just keep a very small amount on the off chance that something happens to the starter. But in 10 or 15 years here, I've never had anything happen to my starter. It always works just fine. I've never had mold in it or anything like that. I have had it get a little sharp a few times. I have had it in the refrigerator get some hooch on top of it, some liquid, and I think I could probably show you that. Hang on. Now this is starter that I've had in my refrigerator for quite a long time. You see that scary looking, muddy looking liquid on top? People call that hooch, but it's just a byproduct. I found that whole wheat really does feed starter better, so I do keep whole wheat flour just for that. On a day-to-day basis, I don't feed with whole wheat. My starter's doing just fine. I don't worry about it. But when I store it in the fridge, I do feed it with whole wheat just because it seems to do better. They say rye flour does too, but I'm not big on the flavor of rye flour. But if you look in there, you can see that liquid and see how thick that starter is. It's full of probiotics and yeast, and you could actually start a whole new starter just with that. Now you could pour this off. If you see it on your starter, you can pour it off, or you can just mix it in. But if I wanted to get this going, all I have to do is just put it on the counter, feed it, 12 hours, feed it again, 12 hours, feed it again, and by tomorrow, the next day, I would be able to bake with this, no problem. If you see hooch like this on your countertop starter or your bottle that you keep for active starter, you are not feeding that baby enough, and it's not gonna be good bread. It's gonna be really sharp and really nasty. I do make sourdough bread, like I said, pretty much every single day. So my sourdough starter gets fed every single night. I mix my bread at bedtime. Right before I go to bed, I throw, water, sugar, salt, flour, certainly, a little bit of oil sometimes, depends on how soft I want the bread. I throw that all into my mixer and then just let it go for 6 to 8 minutes. There's my kneading, no stretch and folds necessary. Put it all in the bowl, cover the bowl, let it sit overnight, get up the next morning, and then I make bread, bagels, English muffins, whatever I'm going to make. So in doing that, I use up all of the starter each time. So if I make bread tonight, I'm going to use all of the starter in my bread. And then I will adjust my flour or my water depending on how much starter I use. So my bread is neither too thin nor too dry. And then with the scrapings, what's on the edges of the bottle, this what I would call the scrapings after I empty this out, whatever's left in the bottle, that is going to be what starts my next batch of starter. If having dehydrated sourdough starter on your pantry shelf is important to you and you don't own a freeze dryer, my suggestion would be, instead of trying to dehydrate that down and pay for all of the electricity and time it would take to do it, there's a company called Cultures for Health that produces a lot of really good starter stuff. They have a San Francisco sourdough starter. They have just a straight up regular sourdough starter. You can buy those for about, I think they're $12 or $14. They come in a Mylar pouch. All you have to do is buy a little box of it, put it on your shelf, and it's good for a very long time. It'll save you the time and the money and the effort of trying to dehydrate your own. Yes, it won't be your own, but it is reliable and it works really well. So you could give them a try. I'll put a link to them down in my Amazon shop. If you want to click on that, you'll be able to find them, whether you buy that from me or you buy it directly from the site itself. It does not matter. That's an affiliate link, but it's a great company, and you definitely can have dehydrated starter on your shelf just in a pinch if you want to have that preserved for, for part of your self-sufficiency. But growing your own starter is so easy, and it's not hard to take care of if you know how to pause it when you want to pause it. So most of us know about the refrigerator method, but I want you to know that you can freeze it, and it will last in your freezer if you need to go on an extended vacation, or if you just need a break, or if you don't bake. I don't bake as much sourdough bread in the summer because it's so hot and I'm so busy with the garden that I tend to just make bread with regular yeast on the fly and get it done. I have a very fast bread recipe, I'll put it right here, that you can make with regular yeast, that it's quick, it's delicious. It only takes about 90 minutes from the start to eating the bread. And in the summertime, I do that, and I bake on cooler days. So if you find this information helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us so much, and we're actively trying to grow this channel, and our growth completely depends on you and your participation. So I appreciate you being here, and I will see you next time. Take care.